Guys, welcome. Extra Talk today with Tomasz and Pimento. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hi, guys. We have a bunch to talk about today. Basically, we have two main subjects. But before we start, Tomasz, we've been talking about Berghuis all this time in previous Extra Talks with other people as well, Pimento as well. Quickly, your take on the Berghuis transfer, which was actually yesterday. He got presented. We saw it. What's your feeling about that transfer?
Well, two main things I have to say. Right now, if everybody in form at our club, if everybody at our club is in form and healthy, we have four best wingers in the league playing in our squad. That's one thing. And the other one, I just love the banter aspect of all that. I mean, I love the crabhousery around all this. It's absolutely marvelous. Yeah, so I'm really happy. I'm not a fan of Berghuis as I appreciate him as a player. Still, I'm not a big fan of his. But I'm willing to let him win me over. Let's put it that way. Obviously, I'll keep my fingers crossed for him because he matured. He chose the right club. So let's give him a chance. That's how I look at it generally.
So basically, in terms of quality, you're fine with it.
Yeah.
But in terms of his history, you have like mixed feelings. Is that it, basically?
Well, I'm just not over the moon. I'm happy. I think it's a good transfer, but it's always difficult to put emotions totally sideways. It's almost impossible. I mean, the game is all about the emotion, so that's natural. But overall, I'm happy, mainly because of the banter aspect. Yeah, they're absolutely pissed off there, so that's always a good thing.
All right, Pimento, I think we discussed the Berghuis transfer. Next? Okay. All right, guys, today, two topics. Let's start with the first one. Before we start, I also want to urge the viewers that are watching, please let us know what you think. We really want your opinion. We want to know what you think of what we're going to discuss. Remember, this is an Ajax community. We're all talking. We all have our own opinions about it. So let's talk together. Tomasz, let me start with you. It's about Kamaldeen, Sulemana. So last week, the hammer was dropped. Basically, well, look, the first news was that Ajax basically stopped negotiations and they pulled the plug and they said, okay, it's over now, because apparently he's been hesitant again. He was supposed to do his second medical checkup. The first time it didn't go through. Now he had to do it again and he asked for more time. This is the reports that we're getting in. Later, we got reports that today I was reading a Danish journalist, a reporter saying that maybe that's not entirely true. Maybe Ajax played it that way. Maybe, the real reason for Sulemana to leave and go to Rennes, and that's why he was buying more time, is because maybe he wasn't 100% convinced he would get play time at Ajax because he would compete with Tadic, for instance. But also maybe there is a financial aspect involved. We don't know exactly, but there are a couple of reasons that maybe Kamaldeen didn't come to Ajax. In general, we know that we've been chasing this player and we've been very interested in this player for quite some time. I think it started all in January, so maybe Overmars was already trying to sign him even before that. We don't know. But it's a player that we were really chasing for a long time. We tried to sign him in January. It didn't go through, so we knew we would come back in the summer. Personally, I thought 90% I was convinced this is going to be our player for also next season. So I was a little bit shocked, but also very much disappointed. Your views, both of you, to start with Tomasz, Kamaldeen.
Okay, so the reasons you gave, all the possible reasons are perfectly logical. Also, I wouldn't downplay the fact that French league is a better competition. So you can say all you want about playing in the Champions League, but week by week in France, he will get a better chance to develop. And that's, by the way, the reason I'm so for the whole Beneliga thing, but that's another story. So I never really followed Sulemana. I never really got anything more than some compilations and the Twitter hype over him. So I wasn't really that excited about him. I've read a lot of stuff saying he would be like a game changer, the real deal, and so on and so on. But I had my reservations mainly because of the wing options we already have. I mean, how much more could he bring? Yeah, rotation maybe. Maybe Tadic could be available for the number 9 more. But then what's up with Hala then? So, yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about him, his quality, and we always seek for quality at Ajax. But yeah, I'm not that disappointed. We're far away from being like in need of a winger. So if we can get another class player, I'm perfectly fine with the whole situation. It doesn't really bother me that much. I never got on the hype train. So yeah, that's about that. Sulemana's main strength would be his speed, his like physical aspect. Do we lack it? I guess we have plenty of that in our squad with Kudus, with Anthony, with Neres, who is still with us. So that's not a tragedy. It's always nice to have a great player. Yeah, but we were in desperate need of him, I guess. Or maybe once we failed to sign him, I'm telling this to myself just to comfort myself. But I don't think so. No, I'm not terribly bad feeling about that. Yeah, it happens. It happens all the time. You remember the Richarlison case and so on. Richarlison turned out to be a player who'd be great for us, obviously. But we managed, I guess. Richarlison didn't play Champions League semi-finals after all.
That's true. Complimento your take.
Yeah, before I give my take, just a question to Thomas. So you don't mind having Neres stay, Anthony stay? You're perfectly fine with that as your winger options, and then Berghuis now?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess we're good enough because I assumed all that would mean Neres leaving, and I think if we have to sell somebody big, then David would be the one we should get rid of. I mean, I don't want to let him go, but if we have to choose one big sell, that would be him, I guess. But right now, if we're not going to sell him, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with what we have.
All right. So now
Juan, yeah, my take. Look, I was very excited about Sulemana just because, if you look at his potential, he's a great player. A lot of speed that could give us some depth. I mean, Thomas says that we have sufficient players in that position, but to be honest, the only one that I see playing off the ball that goes in depth in the is Neres. And Tadic comes in the ball. Berghuis is the same kind of player that we bought. Haller comes in the ball. We have Klaas that sometimes runs over Haller, but it's not. We don't have many options as it comes to speed and going off the ball, getting the passes.
You mean making
big runs? Yeah, exactly. And you need those big runs for especially Champions League. So I really thought he would fill the gap for us a little bit in the Champions League with that extra quality that could win it for us, in very deciding matches where it's close and you're with your back against the wall and you need something to happen, I just don't see that happening with Berghuis. So for me, that's a big bummer, I mean, Berghuis is kind of the same type of player for me as Stade, comes a lot in the ball, likes the ball on his feet to do something, but off the ball, I don't see him as the type that as Sulemana or Neres that does all the hard work, So that's why I was really excited. And when it didn't happen, yeah, I was kind of pissed. Not pissed, but disappointed. But also disappointed that it took so long. And the more I thought about it, I was like, that it takes so long. He wasn't really convinced to come at Ajax. If you're not convinced to come at Ajax, I'd rather have a player that really wants to be here and loves Ajax and just doesn't see this as a stepping stone for something else,
How much question to both of you, how much of this situation can be attributed or blamed towards the situation that Tadic is an indispensable player for us on the left wing. So every other player that we want or has potential or youngster that can play on the left wing doesn't really have a chance, because let's face it, there is no better player than Tadic on the left wing.
May I start with this one, Thomas?
Yeah, sure. Go
on. For me, it's actually the Haller transfer that made this happen, because it's not, let's be honest, it's not only Tadic that's guaranteed a position, it's also Haller that's guaranteed a position on the 9, because you could play Tadic on the false 9 position and have an open spot on the winger position. And the same goes for, I think, Blind and Klaassen. Those are not easily replaced players that you put on the bench. And I don't think Ten Hag will do that either way. So it's hard for every position for the youngsters now to gain an advantage and be number 1.
Well, okay. First of all, I would be very careful with that. I don't think Ten Hag will think. He is stubborn at times, but he has the capability to surprise us. Tadic at 9 was a surprise at one point. I don't know what Edson did was a surprise as well. The fact that Klaassen started as a number 6 was a surprise as well, and so on and so on. I mean, those are not like shocking things, but yeah, he is flexible, not very flexible, but But back to the point, I can very well imagine Tadic moving to number 10 if needed. He could very well define. His ball keeping abilities are top notch. So, and also first touch and so on. All the the things that Donny gave us. Tadic is very well capable of doing as well. So that would be an option, but Ten Hag's been almost always since his third season hesitant on saying that Tadic's best position is left wing. He's always said that. There's a number of fans that disagree with that. I'm also sometimes, I remember the Champions League campaign, 18-19, and what happened there. So
look, I just want to say one thing about that. I also think that Tadic, for us, for the team, for Ajax, the way we want to play, I think he has more impact as a 9. But individually, I think Ten Hag is right, and he has proven that for me, especially last season, that he has more on the left wing side because he has more room to do more than being in the center. However, we don't have a striker that can move and play similar to Tadic. That's my opinion, which is why we need a player like that, because that makes the team play and flow better. And because Tadic is that kind of player, people argue, and me also, that Tadic should be considered more often as a number 9, because Haller is a different profile, basically. That's the only thing.
And not only that, Juan. I mean, we lost Brobbey, we lost Lassina. Are we considering Danilo as the best option after Haller, or is the second option Tadic as a false 9?
We don't know that yet. Danilo is still in the preseason, so we don't know what they're going to say about it. So, sorry, Tomasz, go ahead.
Well, if Neres stays, for me, Tadic is an obvious second choice for the striker, or even first choice. We can argue about that.
Yeah.
I'm certain that he'll be used there, and very hopeful of that. And I agree with you that for that whole team, I mean, it's easier to find a left winger than a striker like that.
Especially in the Ajax system.
Yeah, I mean us. Yeah, we're a special club. Whatever about everybody else.
Of course.
So and also let's keep coming back to the 18-19 season. What success we got was mainly because of Tadic there. He wasn't playing left wing when he played the Bernabeu game.
True.
So that's.
But we did have some amazing world-class players next to him, though.
Yeah, obviously.
And the Ligt were not just players,
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean, Frankie's smile is irreplaceable, obviously, and I mean this both by his face and the way he plays. Still, Tadic shined there. So, and also, by the way, you mentioned we need speed up front. Did we rely that much on speed and runs during the 18-19 campaign? We can achieve great things without that as well. And also, Berghuis is not that kind of a player, but we had Schöne back then. What Schöne gave us? Free kicks. And whatever you say about Berghuis and your reservations are, which most of them I agree with, by the way, but you cannot deny that he is most likely going to be our best free kick taker right now.
Yeah,
and this is also.
I'm not going to compare Berghuis with Schöne because I think he's going to take more
better.
No, I mean the Ziyech role. He's going to take over the Ziyech role. But you did see like passes from Ziyech on an off-the-ball run from Neres. And what I'm saying is now with Tadic and Berghuis on the other side, who's going to be the one that's going to go for the off-the-ball run? It's not going to be Haller. It's going to be maybe Klaassen. But where is that balance? That's what I'm trying to focus on, Anyway.
Well, let's not ignore Kudus as well. Yeah, he can do that.
Yeah, but from a sixth position, I don't know.
Well, why would you ignore the fact that he can play number 10 as well? I know we have Klaassen, but I can very well imagine them switching roles.
Yeah,
why not?
But the thing is, I think what Copimento is also trying to say is that, look, we have 2 10 positions basically. I mean, I'm counting out Ekkelenkamp for now, just for a minute. But if we look at Klaassen and Kudus, also 2 different players on the number 10 positions. Klaassen is more of a runner; he runs more. Kudus needs the ball at his feet.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing. If you have Tadic, if you have Haller, if you have Kudus on 10, and if you have Berghuis on the right wing, all of them want the ball at their feet. There is no movement anymore. That's too one-sided. And of course, you can play tactically. You can tell them to make more runs. But honestly, Berghuis is not someone who makes runs. He wants to be the creative guy like Ziyech. Tadic doesn't make real runs. He always depends on Tagliafico to go over him so he can either pass the ball to him or make a combination play with the striker or number 10. Haller, I mean, case closed, we know. And then if you have Klaassen, at least Klaassen is the one that penetrates the box like Donny did. And that's why the reason we're coming back to the main topic, basically, because we went all the way to how we play up front. Kamaldeen is the one that could be the nearest on the left wing or the guy that makes those runs, and Berghuis can maybe give the ball. And the thing about Kamaldeen is he's very versatile. So he can play basically all 3 positions. He can cover all the 3 positions up front. And that gives us much more of flexibility in terms of how we can play.
I must say, I mean, Neres in a top form like he was, he could do that for us. Anthony could do that for us, but Anthony needs to be trained on that because he doesn't do it by himself. So he needs to be told what to do or something because he likes coming in the ball as well. So if you can train that and get that in them, you would have a balanced winger.
Yeah, we cannot forget about the Brazilians. I know we haven't seen Neres in his top form. We haven't seen him last season in his top form, but he did very well on the left wing already. Yeah, who scored against Juve in Amsterdam, right? I keep going back to that season, but it's inevitable. So fingers crossed, our Brazilians can give both Tadic and Berghuis a tough competition. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Ten Hag can figure out, Berghuis in the middle for some reason. I don't know, making stuff up right now. I guess we have plenty of options, actually. We have two dynamic wingers. We have a Tadic and a lesser Tadic, So, there's plenty of things we can do with that. We can have 2 fast wingers. We can have 2 more ball-liking wingers. We can have one of each.
I like that name for him, the lesser Tadic.
Listen, just to finish off, right, the Kamaldeen situation, we're talking and discussing, and we're also taking into account that Neres should stay or will stay. but he has been on a nomination on the list to leave. But we also assume that we will get, like Kamaldeen. Now that Kamaldeen went to Rennes, and it's official now, what should we do? Do you guys think we should get someone else and still sell Neres, or just keep Neres? I mean, I don't know where Neres stands from his perspective, but what do you want?
It all depends who's the option. Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to give you an answer, because it obviously depends. If our option is going to be Ryan Babel, then I'd rather have David Neres stay, and without a shadow of a doubt. If we have an option of getting Promes back, still I want Neres. If we have Berghuis as an option, that's more of a doubt for me. I rate Berghuis. Still, he would be a question mark. He would have to rebuild and so on. That's always a risk. He would have a big contract and so on and so on, and he would cost a lot, being a player from Premier League. I can't imagine a player that would be both good enough, both within our financial capabilities, and happy not to play every single game. It's a very difficult task to come up with such a name. Well, I'm not smart enough to come up with one, so I'd rather keep Neres in that case.
Yeah, I would keep Neres, man. Is that a question also for me? I would keep Neres. I think this is going to be his comeback season. Last year wasn't perfect, but he came from a very heavy injury. We all know that, and that's not something easy to overcome. You see it also with Kudus, had a big injury. When he came back, he wasn't the same. Maybe they play with the brakes on or something, still scared of getting injured again. But I'm hoping this season both of them are gonna let loose.
All right. Moving on now to the other topic. I just want to remind our viewers, please let us know what you think about the discussion we just had. Should Neres stay? Should we keep him, or should we still, after the Kamaldeen situation, still look for another left winger? All right, guys. So last week we also heard from the same team that basically signed Kamaldeen. They're very interested in our players, basically. So they came with an offer for Alvarez. It was reported 18 million euros for Alvarez. This really, looking at Twitter, this really split the Ajax fans, maybe 50-50, maybe 60-40, we don't know. But there's a lot of discussion about, should we accept that offer, yes or no, for Alvarez? Because some of the people say, you know what, no, Alvarez is really somebody that brings balance on the midfield. The others, they say, now, come on, for 18 million, we can really find another player that's better at the ball, that's more comfortable with the ball at his feet, that can do other stuff on the midfield. And Alvarez is a different type of player. And we're Ajax, and Ajax, you have to be technical, you have to know how to play the ball from the back, etc., which are not the key strength of Edson. So, both of you, your take. I'm going to start with Papimento on Alvarez. What's your opinion about this?
My opinion is that Alvarez is a great player, and for 18 million, it's way too low to sell him, because you're not going to get anyone for that price with that certain quality on the midfield that's going to be there immediately at the start of the season. So anything less than 25-30, I won't even consider. Just because we saw that Ajax had the best games with Alvarez on the midfield in the second half of the season, it started running. We weren't getting as many goals as before. His winner, getting every ball mentality. It was a joy to watch Ajax again.
Papimento, how much of that can you, because there were a couple of changes in the second half of the year, right? Not only Alvarez, but also our backline changed. We had Martinez and Timber playing. And also mostly because Blind got injured after the national with the national team with his ankle. So we saw a very different back center line than in the first half of the season. So how much can you say it's because of Alvarez, and how much can you say it's because also Timber and Martinez?
We had a game in Europe in which Alvarez had some great stats, tackling wise, and that showed just how important he is in clearing up and running after every ball, and doing the dirty work. And to be honest, look, I read on Twitter the midfield they want. They want Blind, that doesn't run in defensive side. They want Gravenberch, and they want Kudus. None of them I see can do what Alvarez does off the ball. So, Eredivisie, yes, maybe you might, because the quality is so big, you might win everything with that midfield. But forget it in the Champions League that you're gonna win without Alvarez on that midfield. And yes, Timber came in instead of Schuurs. Martinez started playing, yes, but it was also the combination with Alvarez. And I think even in the first half of the season when Alvarez wasn't playing, if we had him in the Champions League, we would have continued in that group phase.
All right, interesting. Tomasz.
Okay, so I think it has to be said. It's obvious for all of us, but the first thing we have to say, I have nothing but immense respect for what Edson's done. I mean, he's been in very deep sewers when it comes to the quality of his play, the fit to our squad, and so on. When there were rumors of him possibly joining Valencia during the winter break, I was all up for it. And
Me too.
Yeah. And I couldn't have been more wrong back then. So nothing but respect for the work he's done and the effort to fit in. However,
Here it comes, guys.
However, comma. 18 million is not enough. That's not enough. That's not enough of a profit. I agree that it would have to be at least 25 mil. Because, however, I would be willing to listen for offers if they were good. Because Edson is good enough for us. Edson is a player that gives us. I mean, when we don't have the ball and in the defensive phase, he's like ubiquitous. Yeah, he's everywhere, and it's almost impossible. It's like Kantesque, let's say, at times. However, I do agree with all the talk about. Let's put it otherwise. If we would have to look at our squad, at our best team, if there is one player that could be improved, let's leave out the goalkeeping situation with that. Yeah, I guess that one of the first names would be Edson. Unfortunately, I don't want to sell him, but if we want to improve, I guess we would have to have more ball playing ability there. And
but Tomasz, are we using the 18-19 season? Is that the benchmark for you? If we're looking at that, is that what you're looking at?
No, I mean I would love to, but I know that we're living on Earth, not in the clouds. So that was I hope not a once in a lifetime experience, but that was something special. I mean, Frankie could do it all, so both cover defensive-wise and do what he did best with all the runs and so on and all the stuff we all have wet dreams about. So I know it's difficult to find such a player. However, I think Ten Hag would be able to develop somebody. I disagree with the statement that Kudus wouldn't be able to work defensive-wise. I know I said he would be useful as a 10, but if he would be playing deeper, I mean he has a bit of a similar type of work rate and so on to Frankie. He's no Frankie, and he won't be a Frankie never. But he's
the closest one we have.
Yes. He gives me such vibes.
Even more than Gravenberch, I think.
Yes, because his work rate is way better.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean when Gravenberch is on the ball, he's more similar to Frankie. But overall, I would say Kudus is that kind of a player.
Yeah.
And we could try something like that. I'm not like 100% sure.
The thing is, Tomasz, I spoke a few weeks ago with some other guests, and we were talking about this same situation, and we were talking about Kudus as a player. And, just to repeat, just quickly my opinion, I think I agree with you. Kudus can be that that player, being also defensively, but it's not in his system yet. I don't think he has what Alvarez has right now. Can he be like Alvarez? Defensively, I'm talking about, plus what he already has in terms of his football skills. Could be, but he's not there yet. And Alvarez is already there, So are you going to take the risk to transfer Kudus and let him learn the tricks and everything, plus the footballing skills, while we have somebody that already brings balance? Because let's face it, while you can argue that Martinez and Timber also had an impact on the defensive stability of the team, Gravenberg and even Blind, it was a one-off against Lille, they also played one of their best matches on that field next to Alvarez. So that cannot be a coincidence.
It is not. I'm not downplaying Edson. Ideally, we would keep Edson and let Kudus play there, and keep Edson on the bench. And if the Kudus thing doesn't work out, let's go back to Edson. Yeah.
Yeah.
but I'm not sure if that's possible.
All right.
I mean, this is an idea that is in my head for a long time right now. With Kudus playing deeper and getting that more defensive role. And I'm not 100% sure it would work out.
Yeah.
Still, I guess it would be, more in character of the club to have such a player there. I'm sure we would lose more goals, but we would score plenty more as well. So we have a good manager who would be able to make it work, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It might take him a bit, but it would work after all, I guess.
Yeah.
So I would take that risk, having a romantic approach, let's say. But other than that, I'm not like, let's sell Edson and get rid of him and so on. No, he's a wonderful player who blocked me on Twitter for some reason. I have no idea why. I never said any bad word. Yes, yes, seriously. No idea why. Please undo that. I love you. Yes, I never wrote I was critical of him, but I never said he's useless or whatever. So I don't know. But I'm not sad about that. I understand that if you're a player, you have thousands of.
You know what's funny? You managed to be blocked by Edson Alvarez. Klaassen still didn't block Pavimento.
Berghuis neither. So let's see.
No, not yet.
So
that's
an achievement, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Right. At least he saw you. He saw your message. That's good.
Yeah. So guys, we have to wrap it up. Pimento, your take on the Alvarez thing one more time, if you want to add.
Yeah. Last thing I want to say. Of course, I would always choose a Frankie de Jong over an Alvarez, and of course, you always have to be open to what prices come in. But anything below 25, you're not going to get something for that position better. Can Kudus take over? Yeah, but when are we going to take that defensive skill and see it as a specialty that Alvarez have, that you cannot just learn? It's something you have or you don't. And that's something you grow up with. So that's the only thing I want to say. And yeah, man, Alvarez gained my respect the same way as you said. I wanted him gone in January, but after January, he started playing amazing. Of course, he's not the fastest guy, but he does give us some aerial power. So he has some strengths that we just can't ignore.
Yeah. I just want to add one more thing, because I remember when this whole discussion came up last week. You remember the Roma game, the return game? We had to score 2 goals, and we were leading by 1 goal. And then Ten Hag switched it around. He had to make a substitution. Of course, he has to try something to make the second goal. In the 69th minute, he switched off Alvarez and a couple of other players, but also Alvarez. And 3 minutes later, we conceded the goal. I'm not saying it's all because of Alvarez, but it does show you that he's a filter. I already mentioned a couple of times. He's a filter for the defense. And it's not that easy. If you take him off, we become more vulnerable defensively. You cannot ignore that.
Sure. And for a reason, we cannot also forget that he's a cover for central defense as well. Yeah, so he's not the best option there, but he's a decent option. Yeah, I guess some might argue he would be better than Shoes. I disagree with that, but yeah, they're comparable, let's say there. So yeah, I won't deny his quality defensive-wise, but if we want to progress, he would be the one to consider possibly changing. I'm not saying most definitely he's the guy to change, but possibly one to look at. Maybe there can be a room for improvement, or maybe he can develop ball playing wise. Because let's remember, he came in as the Ligt replacement theoretically, and he's playing midfield right now. Maybe he can develop in the ball playing aspect as well. Who knows? However, less than 25 mil, I totally agree, not enough.